Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Sage. How you guys doing? If you guys are joining my channel for the first time, I like to sit in my car, talk about things, usually game Castle Clash. I wear my sunglasses, and I smoke my cigar, and I discuss things. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. And if you're one of the Castle Clash people that are joining me, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy the new content. I got to move on from the game. So in this video, I want to talk about the documentary I just saw called Leaving Neverland. It's about Michael Jackson and some allegations of child abuse against two guys, James Safechuck and Wade Robson. And it's basically the stories that these guys give about the child molestation from Michael Jackson, allegedly. Now, I want to go into some background first. I want to tell you this right off the top. I'm not a fan of Michael Jackson, his music or whatever. And I always thought he was a weird dude. I ain't gonna lie. Never been a fan. So I had a neutral opinion of this video, of this documentary. You know, I'm expecting a fact-finding documentary that will convince me that he's a pedophile, because I could go either way. I really didn't have an opinion on it. And that's what documentaries do. They kind of sway you in one way or the other after, you know, at the conclusion of it. I watched this thing. It was 4 hours long, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the show was boring. It was boring as hell. It's basically 4 hours of repetitive stories from the same two guys and their families. And these stories are disgusting, man. They're uncomfortable to watch. They're vulgar. They're just unnecessary, over-the-top descriptions of graphic, pornographic, child man sex, child molestation, sick stuff. You can't even watch this without just like wanting to throw up. It is really bad. I was surprised at how vulgar and nasty it was. I was shocked. And I didn't like it. I didn't think they had to be that over the top in describing these things. I didn't understand that. And I was thinking, like, I've never been sex abuse or anything like that. But, you know, maybe you could relate if you've been a victim of sex abuse. But I'm thinking it's something really emotional, and that you can't just go into all these like nasty details and not even shed a tear and just be like talking about it like it's like over tea or something, you know, like it's nothing. Because that's kind of the impression when you watch this video, this movie. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. These dudes are telling these nasty stories, you know, just like they're talking to anybody, like no big deal, no big deal. And I didn't like that aspect of it. But let me talk about these two dudes. There's two dudes. First, I'm going to start off with this James Safechuck. This guy was contradicting himself left and right, man. Especially if you watch the Oprah special afterwards. I'm going to give you one example. This guy, during the documentary, he says that he realized that what Michael Jackson was doing to him all these years was wrong. And Michael Jackson called him and said, hey, can you testify? He was like, hell no. I ain't testifying. His mother asked him why, and then he told his mother what Michael Jackson did to him. And his mother was like, you know what, screw that guy. I hope he hangs. And he was like, you know, and I didn't like him. And this was in 2005 when this first trial was going on. Then later on in Oprah asked him, when did you realize that you were the victim of child abuse by Michael Jackson? And he goes, oh, it wasn't until 2013 when I heard that this other dude, Wade Robson, when I heard him talk about it on TV, then I was like, oh my God, it must have happened to me. That's when I was like, wait, dude, I just saw you 10 minutes ago on this documentary saying the exact opposite. So what are you talking about now? So there's a lot of this back and forth. And if you really like was paying attention, you would just, it didn't make any sense in how they were contradicting themselves, you know, from segment to segment. They were talking about they were in love, mock weddings, you know, full-on gay sex. None of these guys have any homosexual tendencies. Either they're married, they have children, and one of the dudes, Wade Robson, is like a womanizer, known. You know that Justin Timberlake song, Cry Me a River, you know, where he's talking about Britney Spears cheating on him with Wade Robson, the other dude. Wade Robson is a dude he's had women left and right all over Hollywood, Vegas, everywhere. Everybody knows about this dude. But now he's like, I had a full-on, all the way to the time I was a teenager, I had a full-on homosexual relationship with Michael Jackson. Child molestation relationship with Michael Jackson, where I was in love with him, and I'm still in love with him. Come on, man. Come on, man. Plus, if you do research on this thing, on these two dudes, it's like, come on, man. They go back and forth so much, it's ridiculous. It make your head spin. You know, this Wade Robson dude, when he interviews, he's like slimy. There's no emotion, like I said, no tears, and he has a little smirk face. You know, you thought the Covenant Boy was bad. Look at this guy when he talked. He got this little smirk on his face, and he's talking about, and he's just like is making up stories on like off the top of his head as they ask him the questions. You know, they'll ask him a question, and then he'll be thinking about it and go, yeah, and then blah 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 happened, and this happened, and the stories were just so nasty. You know, I don't want to get banned on my first non-Castle Clash video, but I'm talking about like. Look, like I was a kid and I spread my cheeks open and Michael Jackson put his tongue there, and it was like stuff like that. Now, come on, man. You expect me to believe that? So anyway, this thing was really one-sided. It was crazy. It was over the top. It just wasn't believable, man. I don't think the truth would sound like that salacious. You know, that's how fictional stories work, not how real life works. It just didn't add up to me. And this is coming from a non-fan. It just didn't make sense. And it actually, instead of convincing me that he was a pedophile, I started watching this thing and I start thinking, you know what, Mike might be innocent. I think he's innocent. Because I think maybe he was just like a childlike, you know, Peter Pan-like type dude who thought children were like his safety net. And he can be honest with them, and he didn't trust anybody because he was raised famous, and I started believing all that.
Okay, here we go on 3. Wait, don't cheat.
Ready?
No, but your hands gotta be inside the pocket, man.
No.
I'm gonna beat you.
Ready?
Are you ready?
Wait, no, I'm not ready. Ready? No.
I'm crazy for doing this. Okay, no, you gotta stretch it. Mac, you gotta.
Whoa. I'm not doing the Superman. Ready? Good, set, go.
You cheater!
Whoa!
He cheats a lot. But he's fun. He loves to have fun.
It completely changed my opinion now to where I think Michael Jackson is innocent and not a pedophile. So it did the exact opposite reaction, got the exact opposite reaction from me that I think the filmmaker was trying to convey. You know, I don't know. I don't know. You watch it. It's important to see with your family. Don't see it with your family. Don't see it with your kids. It's too nasty. But, you know, you may want to talk about the issues that come up in this film. But that's my take, man. When I look at the stories that these two dudes was talking about, and just the whole way it was presented, how it was one-sided. There was there was nothing coming from the other side to contradict what they were saying. It was just like, this would happen, this would happen. It was boring. The same stuff over and over again for 4 hours. I was like, nah. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So, sorry, I know some people believe it, but I just don't. I can't. So anyway, that's it, man, for this video. I just wanted to throw that out there. Watch the movie. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. I want to hear what you guys want to say about this one. Finding Neverland, or Leaving Neverland, I'm sorry. All right. Talk to you guys later. Peace.